Hi, I thought I'd do a video today just on a decent stretching routine. So you can use this routine when you wake up in the morning, during your yoga session, at the end of your workouts, if you're feeling a little bit stiff. It's full body stretching session, so it should take probably just over 10 minutes. I use this most days, every time I do any sort of fitness, and even on my day offs. I think it's just quite nice to sort of just have 10 minutes you time. So I always just start off. You can do this outside if it's a nice day. It's not the nicest day today, so we're going to be doing it upstairs. And again, this is suitable for anybody pregnant, returning from injury, or return to fitness. So to start off, you can put some nice music on, and you're going to start off just in a starfish position, and you really want to think about just nice deep breaths in through the nose and then out through the mouth, and then just trying to think about your spine. It should be nice and straight, supine, and try to think about each and every single little bit of your spine, from all the way up at the top to all the way down at the bottom by your pelvis, that it's all touching the floor. And you're just going to do some nice breaths. So we're going to do 3 really deep ones now, in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth, and one more. This is good if you've just finished doing a session. It will just help bring your breathing rate and your pulse rate back down, and just sort of bring you back in the room and help your body return to normal. Okay, so what you're going to do now is you can either do them both at the same time or one at a time, but I just take both my knees. It's a bit difficult with the bumping away at the minute, but you can take them either side or keep them together, whatever's more comfortable. And you're just going to bring your knees up and pull them forward, and that will just, you pull your knees down to the floor and relax your head back and do a couple more deep breaths, and that's just going to help relieve any pressure that you've got in your lower back. If you're a bit more flexible, or you've got the room, you can hug your arms around, bring them right in. Or if you're very pregnant and got a big bump, you can always go to baby pose and just hold your feet, if you're able to. And then a couple of deep breaths in this position, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then you're slowly going to sit up. Okay, so we're going to start off today just by stretching the legs. We're going to start with stretching the back of the legs. So we're going to be looking at the calf muscles and your hamstrings. So we're going to start that by stretching one leg out in front of you. I always tend to do my left side first. Bringing the right foot in. Okay, I'm going to turn to the side so you can see. Okay, so the mistake that a lot of people make here is that they round through the back. They round through the back and they think it's really important to be able to reach and touch their feet. When actually what you want to do is keep a nice straight back. Take your hands, pull your cheeks or your glutes away so you've got your seat bones on the floor. And then the idea is that you hinge forward from the hip. So we're not rounding, nice straight back, shoulders back and bending forward. And if at this point, you know, you can't touch your toe, you should be able to feel the stretch in your hamstring and your calf. If you can reach further than this, then that's great. But really for this, all you want to do is to be able to successfully feel the stretch. So the point at which you feel that doesn't make any difference. It will be different for each individual, how warm or cold you are, what sort of exercise you've done, how tight you are, injuries. There's loads of factors. So you just want to keep your toes pointing up to the ceiling, and aim to reach as far forward as possible. So I'm going to hold this for about 20-30 seconds. And then once we've done that, we're then just going to inhale back up, in through the nose, and then you're going to do a nice deep exhale, and then seeing if you can just lean a little bit further into the stretch and just increase it for sort of a final 10 seconds. Remember, nice and straight through the back. Lovely. And you're slowly going to bring in and swap, and exactly the same here. Bring the glutes out the way. Going to lean forward, bending from the hip. And if this is as far as you can stretch, or here, or you know, if you can lean all the way forward to touch the wall, as long as you are feeling the stretch in the correct places. So it should be at the calf, normally towards the back of the knee, and then in the hamstring from the glute down to the knee. So in total, I'm going to aim to hold for about 20-30 seconds, making sure we're not rounding through the back, keeping forward through the hip. We're going to relax, then deep inhale through the nose, and then exhale for your final stretch for an extra 10 seconds. And hopefully you've just been able to get your fingers a little bit further than you did last time. There you go, and slowly relax out of that. So next we're going to look at doing glutes. Okay, so there's several different stretches that you can do here, but I find this the most useful. It gets difficult as your bump gets bigger. But what you're going to do here is you're going to take your left leg and cross it over, and you're then going to hug the knee into the opposite armpit. And then as you hug and pull in, you want to think about sitting up nice and tall, keeping the spine nice and straight. You don't want to be twisted. None of this should be painful. And as you pull the knee over and across the body, you should feel the stretch in your outer glute. If you're like me and you've got a bump in the way, it can be more difficult. There is an alternative to this. You can lay on your back, keep that leg crossed over, and you can pull the other leg, which in turn will stretch this leg and will stretch the glute in the same place. But I find this one is easier to really target that outer glute muscle. So again, you're going to hold for about 20-30 seconds in total, and then relax. Deep inhale through the nose, and then a final exhale, and you're just trying to increase that stretch for the final 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and then slowly relax, and we're going to repeat on the other side. So hugging the knee over into the opposite armpit, keeping the spine nice and tall. You should still be sat on both of your seat bones. You shouldn't be leant over onto one side of your body. Still sat nice and upright, and just hugging that leg over. You know, and you just get a feel for it, and you might be able to manipulate where your knee is, and just then manipulate what part of the glute you're feeling the stretch in. And we're going to relax. Inhale through the nose, and then exhale through the mouth. And just try and increase that stretch for another 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Okay, so we've done a lot of the muscles in our lower legs now. We're just left with the lower leg muscles and the upper leg muscles on the front. So what I'm going to do here is just a quick one sometimes. I just feel like it just targets some bits that sometimes we can miss. So you're just going to sit on your heels, making sure that your feet are nice and flat on the floor, sitting on the heels, and then you're just going to lean back. And as you lean back, that should enable you to feel a stretch in the muscle that runs down along your shin. You should just feel a nice pressure in there. This is always quite nice if you've done quite a lot of impact, so skipping, road running, or any running really. This can sometimes just feel quite nice along the shin bone. So just going to sit here just for 20-30 seconds. I like this stretching routine because a lot of it is done on the floor. Well, most of it is done on the floor, and it just enables you to sort of bring yourself back down to earth after a workout, or it just enables you to be a little bit more in touch and in tune with your body if you're deciding to do it, you know, maybe before work in the morning and before you have your morning cup of tea. Lovely. And you're just going to slowly come out of that, and then we're going to look now at stretching off the quads. I normally do the left side of my body first, so you're going to want to get comfortable on your right hand side, lower leg just stretched outwards, and just so you've got a nice base. Your spine should still be nice and straight. You don't want to be curved or bent over, nice and straight. And then you just take you can either lean on your arm to keep your spine in a nice alignment. And then you're going to take the left foot, what would be the lacy part of your trainer, and then you're going to bring your knees together, and you're going to bring that foot up towards your buttocks, and then you're just going to push forward at the hips, and you should feel the stretch along your quadricep muscle at the front. Idea here is you want to keep your knees sort of together as best as possible and keeping a nice stable base with a slight bent right leg and your arm. So after about 20 seconds, you're then going to increase the stretch for the final 10 seconds. So deep breath in through the nose, and then exhale through the mouth, and then really try and push those hips forward for the last 10 seconds, and you should really feel the stretch in the upper part of the quad as you push your hips forward. And you're going to slowly relax out of that, and we're going to repeat the same thing on the other side. So getting a nice stable base to start off with, nice and straight through the body, lacy part of your trainer. Lovely. And again, you shouldn't be bent, or none of this should be uncomfortable or painful. The stretching might be slightly uncomfortable, but definitely nothing should be painful. Okay, really thinking about that stretch, keeping those knees together, and then inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth, and then really push those hips forward to increase the stretch for the last 10 seconds. Push, push, push. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Okay, so that's the lower body pretty much stretched off now. We're then going to go up to a tabletop position, and we're just going to do a little bit of stretching through the body. So tabletop position, hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. We're going to start off by rolling the shoulders back, dipping the back and pushing the head upright, looking forward. There's lots of different names for this, but happy cat is one of them. So you're going to imagine that you're a nice happy cat. And then you're just going to invert everything then. So you're going to imagine that there is a string attached to your belly button, which is pulling you up to the ceiling. Going to roll your shoulders over, roll the hips. And then now you're going to go into what's known as sad cat. And you're really going to push the back up to the ceiling. And then exhale and return to your happy cat. And then inhale, and you're going to go back to sad cat. Sorry, exhale. And inhale, back to happy cat. You can do that for a while. It's sometimes quite beneficial, especially if you've had a heavy session, maybe on your back, so deadlifts and things. And then just to finish off stretching the back, you're just going to pop back and we're just going to drop into what we call child pose. So open the knees slightly, you're just going to push forward, head onto the floor, and then you're just going to have a bit of a wriggle around until you get comfortable. And the further that you can push your arms out in front of you and the flatter that you can go to the floor, the more you will feel the stretch through your back. 3, 2, 1. And then you're just going to take a seat back on the floor again. You can do most of this standing if you would like to. I like to do most of it seated. So you're just going to bring your feet in, add them nice and crossed, and then we're just going to finish off the back and the chest. So we're just going to stretch round. You want to imagine that you're hugging a tree. Really think about pulling tight, head down. You should feel the stretch in between the shoulders. Then you want to return round, so hands round the other side, interlinking the fingers, and then pulling the arms round to the back. And you should feel that through the chest. And repeat, hug the tree. And back round the chest. Then we're going to take your left arm and bring it across your body. This will stretch off the muscles around the shoulder joints. Holding these for about 15 to 20 seconds. You can look over the shoulder that you're stretching. Some people say it helps them increase the stretch. I don't personally feel that much of a difference. And then 3, 2, 1, and then you're going to swap over. Really pulling that arm tight in across the body. Then continuing with the shoulders and the arms, then going to take that left arm. The left arm is going to drop down the centre of the back, and the right hand is just going to push down on the elbow. That's going to help stretch off your triceps, and again, muscles surrounding the shoulder joint. Here you just want to again keep the spine nice and straight and try to keep your chin up off your chest. You want to sit nice and tall. 3, 2, 1, and then back round and swap. So now the right hand is in the centre of the back. Again, really fighting that urge to let your chin drop onto your chest. Three, 2, 1. And then as the final stretch, I always just go back to this position, and I always just like to do a little bit of a back stretch. So just knee over the body, keeping the rest of the body flat to the floor. So trying to keep your shoulders flat. And I just find this really relieves any tension that you've got in your body. A couple of nice deep breaths. And then slowly swap. And then when you're ready, you can slowly sit back up. And there you go. That's just like a 15-20 minute stretching routine. That's my go-to one at the end of a session, especially if it's been a full body workout. And it's my go-to if it's a nice sunny morning out in the garden. I just want to do a little bit of stretching. It's just a nice easy routine to follow. You're working from the bottom of the body, working all the way up, and you're stretching everything off. So hopefully you've enjoyed that, and it will just add another tool to your toolkit. And yeah, I hope you have a nice day. Bye.